Jump Force has finally come out, and it's an average game. Certainly, Bandai Namco overhyped the people a little bit too much, but let's see what happened with this game. E3 2018 in the Microsoft Showcase, we were shown Jump Force, Shonen Jump's new game to celebrate the magazine 50th anniversary, a 3D fighting game with 3v3 mechanics, something like combining Marvel vs. Capcom with Naruto games, with a little bit of Xenoverse sprinkled in, more on that later. You might ask why I choose the Naruto games instead of Xenoverse altogether. Well, because Xenoverse has flight mechanics unlike this game. There, simple as that. With the small piece of gameplay we saw something good, although the over-realistic graphics kept me concerned. But, having knowledge of previous Jump games, I knew I was in for a threat for the ages. I mean, I liked J-Stars, or at least that's what I thought I was going to get. Keep in mind, I'm going to compare this game with J-Stars and Jump Ultimate Stars like a motherfucker. And just to clarify, J-Stars is not a good game too, but it shows a big difference, so this might get lengthy. First of all, the story. Everything starts with Frieza invading New York and fucking shit up, alongside some white-haired dark-skinned people and Goku coming out and trying to stop him, but in an act of recklessness, he lets an unknown bystander from the real world get hit by Frieza. Almost dead future Trunks use a strange cube to bring him back to life. And this is where you create your avatar to interact with the game. By the looks of it, the cube has given the avatar super strength, so he or she can fight on par with the enemy. After this, we are transported to the Avengers a strange plaza which will become your main hub for the game. Get ready when I read this one place a new one later. And in here, Director Glover, a shaved Nick Fury, seriously, that has to be a freaking reference, will recruit you and the following Jump heroes that you will be unlocking as the story progressed. And I say progressed with big quotes there. So, the main reason why this story came to be, an unknown entity has brought the different worlds from Shonen Jump to the real world, and it's merging them with different places on Earth. For example, Paris is fusing with 12 houses of the Golden Sage from Saint Seiya, or London is fusing with the Hidden Leaf Village. Sounds good on paper, right? Just wait and see how the game treats this story. Now it's up to said heroes and this waste of space to bring back the world to normal. And at least that is what's supposed to be, but spoiler alert, it doesn't go back to normal in the end. This is where the whole story does a complete nosedive into mediocrity. The thing goes like this. Bad guy does something here and there, the avatar alongside a hero goes there, there's a hero who gets possessed with a cosmic cube for some reason or another, or Umbra's cube in the subtitles. Really? Not even a good translation team? They are even called black boxes in sometimes. Anyway, they become evil, you bet the shit out of them to recruit them, bad guy shows up again, either one of the two original villains that made for the game, and by they I mean Toriyama, more on that later, or one of the few Jump villains that were selected for this. You beat their asses, they escape, and for some reason, the characters don't even try to stop him. I mean, come on, grab his fucking legs and crush him in the floor, fucking idiot! They say shit but don't do anything. Things escalate as your typical shonen adventure. Ladder rings repeat for about 17 hours because you cannot skip cutscenes and the overabundance of loading times, some light Yagami inconsequential cutscenes that literally amount to nothing. Seriously, it's only light being light, nothing else. Then final boss time with Pepsi Man, and at the end of the credits, a post-credit scene that will not make anything out of it. As of now, who knows if DLC will add something because this was pathetic. The game has the following characters: Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Sabo, Boa Hancock, and Blackbeard from One Piece, Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, Gaara, Kaguya, and Boruto from Naruto, Goku, Vegeta, Freezer, Future Trunks, Piccolo, and Cell from Dragon Ball, Ichigo, Rukia, Renji, Aizen from Bleach, Yotaro and Dio from JoJo, Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, Yusuke and Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho, Seiya and Shiro from Saint Seiya, Kenshin and Shishio from Rurouni Kenshin, Deku from My Hero Academia, Asta from Black Clover, Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, Ryo Saiba from City Hunter, and finally Dai from Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai. And just to clarify, no, Dai was not made by Toriyama and has no relation to the games whatsoever, no matter what the name tells you. Do your freaking research. As you can see, almost half the roster is covered by the big three. I'm all for including more characters, but seeing that this game is a celebration of 50 years of Shonen Jump, I think the other series should have been equally treated. Where are Iki, All Might, Yuno? I for one like the idea of Madara in the game. Instead we get this bitch that came out of literally nowhere just because Kishimoto didn't know how to kill him. And the less I talk about this annoying little shit here, the better. I like the big three, I really do, but 6 characters for a series is a little bit too much. If they put me to choose between Toriko and Piccolo, I choose Toriko, no questions asked. I would choose Tsuna over Boruto in a millisecond, and I will certainly choose Gintoki over Sabo any day of the week. Bandai certainly played favorites, and I find it really unfair and a little insulting. If you wanted to play with this many DBZ or Naruto characters, I would pop up a DBZ or Naruto game. Or to get really old school here, if I wanted to play a game full of DBZ, Naruto and One Piece characters ducking it out, I would play Battle Stadium DON, and that was on PlayStation 2, and a freaking Smash Bros clone at that. This is supposed to be a Jump game, and even if the series are that famous in Jump, Jump is more than just them. Again, the series deserves representation no matter how small the fanbase is. For what I hear, the developers, and I mean the Western ones, thought that for the roster to be appealing for the Western audiences, they had to bring as many of the 3 big characters as possible, and then some of the more known series like My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and some of the JoJo, thinking that no one else liked the other series on this. Well, I call bullshit of that. But the game came out like this, so we have to review it. On the aspect of characters, missing ones. People coming from the previous games know the omitted characters for this one, and they were so obvious to be included that it's downright concerning that they're actually not around. The following characters that were missing from this game are, let's see, Medaka, Tsuna, Arale, Toriko, Zebra, Hiei, Kankichi, Gintoki, Saikei, Oga, Koro Sensei, Nueno, Rao, Bobobo, Lucky Man, and Momotaro. This is for the characters that were actually fighters, because in that game there were assist characters, and the only ones that became full fighters in this one were Hisoka and Rukia. Such a waste. Yeah, I know that Taro was a fighter in Victory Versus, but I'm grateful that that abomination was actually cut from this game. But back on topic, were there any considerations for other characters? Alan Walker, Kamagawa. I don't like Kankichi, but I have to admit and honor the value of that series as the oldest one to ever exist in Shonen Jump and the second best-selling manga series in history, up to 40 years running, and it ended just in 2016 with 1,960 chapters. Meaning this series existed ever since Jump was only 10 years in the business, and he was excluded for this game? I find that insulting to Jump and to the fans of that series. In fact, I'm gonna rant about it, so here we go. If the developers think that there's only fans of DBZ, One Piece, and Naruto for this game and then just added the rest for the series for those little fans, they are solidly mistaken. Some people wanted to see Medaka Box getting represented here because the series was one of the few that had a female as the main character, something not that common in Jump. That combined with, well, an interesting story and her personality made her a fan favorite. Reborn was also a big favorite back in the day, thanks to these ridiculous premise and full of likable characters. In fact, some people like the side characters more than the main one. But it's a beast, fight me. A series such as Gintama, which is really loved by all, and he was not included. No consideration for the gag manga series like Dr. Slump. Come on, people like Toriyama's first work. And on the other case of Medaka, more females. Ochako, Noelle, Emma, Lala, Yami, Linali, Sagiri, Kagura, Genkai, Yoruichi for heaven's sake. But we got nothing. Bandai said, we are getting much more females. Well, tell you this, 4 females is not much more. And also villains like Shigaraki, Saga, Meruem, Demon Lord Barn. Seriously, I know there's going to be 9 DLC characters, and it saddens me a lot that there are probably, no, scratch that, they are going to be used to bring some of these cut characters in the game that should be in the fucking base roster. And maybe we get a new character if fucking luck is on our side. which should not be the case. DLC should be used for new series to be represented, like World Trigger, Yuna and the Haunted Offspring. Those who really know what I mean when I say I want Kogarashi in the game. The Promised Neverland, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Dr. Stone. Hey, if this asshole can be in here, I don't see why Senku can't be included too. I mean, not all characters included in the game had to be fighters, like the gag manga characters like Kankichi. And if for some reason DLC continues the story, I want to have someone on my side that can match Light's mind. Or all series who didn't get represented in previous games like Buso Renkin, Nurarigen no Mago, Tulobru, The Greyman, Black Cat, Ninku, Hoshin Engi. And on that note, if this game is included Boruto, which is a monthly series by the way, what can they say about Seraph of the End, Blue Exorcist, Twin Star Exorcist, Bimbo Gamiga, Rosario Cross Vampire, Claymore? I want freaking Senkin here, people! The guys that promoted the game on E3 were like, the characters that we reveal are not gonna be the full roster at launch. There's gonna be surprises. Well, DLC doesn't count for this statement, and the original characters also don't count, okay? Or, we got almost every Jump character in the game. Well, tell you what, 6 characters each from the big 3 is not every Jump character. We don't buy a Jump crossover game just to play as one of the big 3. Ugh. Let's move on, cause if not, I'm going to be stuck in here for hours. I don't want to ruin the story for those who want to see it for themselves, if you can tolerate that at least. Granted, there are some good moments like in the beginning where Goku wanted to eat but Luffy got ahead of him and ate everything out. Now that would have been the perfect chance for a fight, but nothing happens. Or Ryo Saeba wanted to boost Deku's confidence by putting him against Jotaro and Kenshiro. That got a laugh out of me. Jesus Christ, Ryo, you said train him, not kill him. But unfortunately that doesn't go anywhere. Tell you this, the latter situation I told you is freaking filler shit. Thanks to the atrocious quantity of loading times, the stiffness of the animations, it completely ruins the immersions if you feel any of it to begin with. In fact, any type of good scene is ruined by that. Some of them don't have voice acting. Granted, it's something normal that happens in those type of games, but come on, Ryuk doesn't have a voice in a voice clip. The fact they don't move the freaking mouse or even fucking blink. What the fuck, seriously? It's like someone is using a mask of the characters. They don't even emote 99% of the time. They never change their facial expression, no matter what. And this is where the avatar comes in. This character is completely inconsequential and unnecessary in this game. This is my opinion. If you like the character and like the OCs, more power to you. I can't stand it. The avatar can be made male or female, and you are limited to only 3 types of fighting styles: Goku, Luffy, or Naruto. Just like any other custom character function, you can use some part of other characters to make yours more unique, like the hairstyle of the Dark Magician Girl, clothes from Dragon Ball, and like facial expressions or accessories like the Corset Mark from Naruto, halos, other things. Unfortunately, you are completely limited to what you choose at the beginning of the game as a fighting style, since even if you unlock new fighters or beating the game and try to make a new game plus, there's no other new style available, which really disappoints. There are people who would like to fight like other fighters like Yusuke or Kenshiro. What if I wanted to fight with a sword like Kenshin or Asta, even Zoro? Or what if I wanted to fight like the more unique characters like Yugi or Jotaro? Pretty shallow customization. Keep in mind, Bandai said we could use Dio's skills for the avatar, and it's not true. Taking into consideration the previous games, there were no OCs. Everything revolved in bad guy did something, heroes jumped in, fight till the end of the game with repeating characters, few hours later, final boss time. In J-Star Victory Versus, it was called the Dark Phantom and it was just a mirror match. Kind of disappointing and mediocre to be honest. In Jump Ultimate Stars, the final boss were the evil doctors from Dr. Slump. They were a really good challenge, I'm not gonna lie, and everything was done without the help of any avatar. Now take Xenoverse for example. In that game, the avatar makes sense. Why? Because we are living something we have seen a million of times already. So we are using the avatar to fresh things up, with some minor or major changes. On the other hand, in Jump Force, we already have a freaking bunch of colorful characters coming from different worlds with an original premise, capable of very unique interactions. I mean, this one is freaking gold.
おめえ見どころあるな。どうだ、一杯やらねえか。酒はダメなんで、オレンジジュースください。
So a mute static piece of cardboard that the other characters address through like an imaginary friend doesn't help in this case. It's just to make a fighter with other characters attached. This game lacks so much personality and love that comparing it to J-Stars, the difference is just like night and day. In J-Stars, they banter between each other in the team, throw some snarky remark on the opponent or even the teammate. They prose, they do many types of things and shows personality and love and knowledge of the characters itself. In here, they just clash and look at each other's faces, some dialogue, and that's it. And it's always the same dialogue. On the other hand, J-Stars had at least 2 dialogues for specific characters and then some. In fact, it lacks so much respect for the source material that the latter situation I told you about, the one with Deku and Ryo, remember I told you that it is fucking filler shit? It's true. The game revolves mainly on Goku, Luffy and Naruto and the other characters from those series and barely deviates to use other characters. The story progression is incredibly repetitive. You go fight with evil custom characters alongside a villain or a possessed hero if it's necessary, by the way, to the point of exhaustion, and after some time, well, it feels boring and just not fun, and sometimes it's so repetitive that even after many fights with these guys, one character was the same in 3 out of 5 fights. This is not overuse of a character gimmick, it's over abuse. It revolves around this. You select some missions and after some are done, go talk to Glover, and he will give you your next story-based mission. And this is where the main problem lies. Many of the unlockable characters are hidden in filler type missions, and some of the characters are never addressed in the story even once. Dai, Kenshiro, Yugi, some of them appear in a cutscene and are just in the game because, well, I don't know, it's like they just went and selected whoever they wanted and didn't even care how they were going to be included in the story. In fact, the story is so useless that when you go on multiplayer mode after talking with the main guys and solving the tutorial, all the characters are unlocked from the get-go. What? The main reason for someone to do a story mode in a fighting game is to unlock hidden characters. When they are unlocked from the very beginning when you play with another person, then the story mode loses any type of meaning or use. Not only that, but the story is not original at all. Aside from the world merging together, it's just Xenoverse all over again. Unknown guys control heroes with some magic shit, and some lackeys of him and villains get on the ride for the heck of it. Seriously, all these incredible worlds, each with their own story, come together and you copy Xenoverse. And talking about copying and pasting, more specifically the original characters created for this game. They were all done by the one and only Akira Toriyama. And as much as I like the guy and knowing Toriyama's effort when it comes to games, thanks to the Dragon Quest series, Chrono Trigger and other games he has helped with, I have to say, he got pretty lazy in this time. Kane looks like Toriyama's version of Thanos, Galena looks like the cousin of Thor from Xenoverse, copy and paste. And again, this guy looks like a parody of Nick Fury, only shaved in with both eyes and glasses. And this guy looks like Jiren infused with Pepsi Man and has an even lamer backstory. When it's really necessary to copy the story, it's good at the first time, it was okay on the second one, but after that, you ask yourself, huh? There's no other type of story for this? Can we get something new? At least J-Star had a tournament story for it and gave the reason to fighting other characters without the need to make them go evil. But come on, I know Toriyama's famous and all, but he is the main reason for I want to become a manga artist. But was it really that difficult to ask the other mangakas to get in and make more original characters instead of getting stuck on Toriyama's lazy OCs? Horikoshi has a good knack to make some really good heroes and villains. Oda OCs is not that difficult, he does that all the time for One Piece games. Look at World Seeker and Limited World Red. Kubo, Kishimoto, Araki, Yabuki Kentaro, for fuck's sake. I would love to see some sexy piece of art from him in a video game, even as a hero fighting by my side, or as a villain kicking my ass. And you know why I call it her? Because we all know if he get in this game, it would be some smoking hot female. All of them can make interesting and very unique designs for this and help make the story better and not rely on those black-skinned characters all the time. In comparison, J-Stars did more equally to the point of including multiple characters from all other series, to do some cameos, important comments, give you missions, the like. I know they are just cameos, but still the effort to include characters like Saori, Senkichi, and others is noted. In fact, the game lacks so much interest that the opening itself is just freaking lazy. Do you know what we got for the opening cinematic for Jump Force? The same promotional video from E3. The very same. Minus the gameplay shots. No awesome song or showcase of the other series that were included in the game. Really? Is this a jump game of Battle Zion DON 2? On the other hand, yeah, get used to it. J-Stars has some amazing opening intro that really gets you hyped to play the game no matter how average it was. Call it Fighting Stars. Sang by Mr. DBC himself, Hironobu Kageyama, Hiroshi Kitadani, who sang the very first One Piece opening, and the man of the high voice, Akira Kushida, the one responsible for Ultimate Battle in Dragon Ball Super. So, to show you the difference in quality of love, I'm going to show you each opening side by side. Of course, I'm going to mute the one with Jump Force cause who want to hear that shit, and you'll tell me which one is better. I mean, you know J-Stars is better, but just follow me on this one. 'Now you see the difference in respect for the source material. Moving on, whoever was in charge of the motion caption in this game should be hanging from his balls, because this is complete and utter shit. In story mode, every single character had the same animation for explaining itself, for surprise, idle posture each and every time, not a single speck of unique behavior between them. Not only that, but even in the fighting, some characters share the same idle animation. For example, Naruto and Gaara have the same animation. Sometimes in the cutscene they look like they are attacking to someone in some kind of form, but it looks erratic and bad and nothing comes out of their mouths, and the scene only drags because of it. The stiffness of the cutscene is so bad, it's like a kid playing with anime toys or something. Moments where the character is supposed to be angry or sad, it just stays there, standing like it was nothing, just staring at the endless void waiting for the story to freaking end. One of the instances is with Sanji interacting with this female. All of One Piece fans know how Sanji reacts to this kind of situation. Well, in this, it's nothing. It's just like he's stitched to the ground, no reaction. He talks the way he does, but he doesn't even react in any way. He does it while fighting in the story mode, but in here it's just, nah, I've seen better. We cannot blame the voice actors for what they did. They just did what they were ordered. The animators are the ones to blame for this. They communicate with this, just as simple models facing each other without any sense of actually talking with someone whatsoever. Those who know JoJo know how the characters talk to each other, and in here, meh, my back is hurting today, I'm not going to pause. Actually, in the game's cutscenes is completely, thanks to they not moving their mouse, any sense that they are in a game's cutscene is completely lost. Are you sure we are not in some kind of debug mode or something? Yeah. They also move to the sides with the agility of freaking tanks. Or in the worst case, looks like bad Power Rangers acting. I mean, look at this. Vegeta looks like he has a diarrhea and it's a big one coming up. And to get things worse, some of the models either have a freaking iron bar on their spine because they don't move from that state, don't have a neck like Vegeta, Trunks or Goku's case, or worse, have two necks. Look at this. Even the normal running animation looks weird to say the least. The avatar and the others jitter all the time while running, no, I don't know why. Thanks to the different characters' proportions, some of them look like stuffed toys trying to walk, and in some cases you can see such bad running animation that it's completely disturbing. Look at Frieza, 100% form here. Looks like a midget with huge bags on his arms. Even Xenoverse has better running animation and you fly 99% of the time in that game. The textures in this game are completely hit and miss. When it comes to clothes on any surface, be it stone or metal, it looks good, realistic enough to look well done. On the other hand, the skin texture is fucking ugly. Some characters like Goku look like some cosplayer with badly proportionate muscle sleeves and plastic hair. Or in the case like with Gon, looks like it used oil to make himself extra shiny. Or Toru, who is both, is like he is sweating buckets. Not every character is like that. It certainly bothers me, and like how Deku's eyes look like freaking porcelain cups. I know that his eyes are big, but come on. And the janky movements in the cutscene just accentuate it even more. Seriously, who thought this was okay? Kenshiro is one of the characters that look okay because the manga art style is just that realistic. Another style that fits here is JoJo, and for some reason their faces are not over realistic and just well done. But other manga styles suffer from it. Certainly these kind of graphics don't fit for a game where the different art styles clash together. Realistic graphics for an anime game is always a bad idea. That's why DBZ Ultimate Tenkaichi looks so bad. Something good from the graphics are powers themselves. When you shoot a Kamehameha, you truly feel it. The light particles whenever a hit connects and accompanied with good sound effects is satisfying. Unless it's with Trunks, because for some reason sometimes the sword hits don't have a sound effect like it should be, but anyway. Not only that, but super flashy attacks look extremely well, like the Final Flash or the Tailed Beast Bomb. Look very impactful, and the remnants of destruction in the area are a nice touch, like the broken stones or burned or electrified floors. The angles some techniques take give it a good extra flair, like Sasuke's Susanoo dies avant trash, but even then there's something bad about it. They get in the way of vision, and you lose your opponent's location or actions, and that can give you some chip shot. And by chip shot, I mean a combo that can might end you or cut you half of your health. The controls are simple enough. You move with the left stick, of course. You have a jump button, no pun intended I swear, light and heavy punch buttons, and a grab button. Of course, there is your typical guard button, although that shit is broken as fuck. No matter what you do, that fucking shield will never ever break. A super dash button to get you in the face of your opponent as fast as you can, and the Xenoverse aspect comes from this part. With the single press of a button, you get access to a menu where you can select 4 iconic attacks from the specific character. I'll link it to any of the 4 buttons of the main control. You also recharge your energy by keeping this button pressed. The 4th skill linked to the A control button or the X button on the PlayStation is the most damaging of them all, and it's only available after giving and receiving some damage. It also automatically transforms those characters that can do it. Now there is a problem with the next mechanic, Team Swap. In games like Marvel vs. Capcom or Dragon Ball Fighters, you can call in your teammate to do an attack just pressing the button, and to change the character, just press the button for a few seconds. In this game, it's the other way around. I don't know why, but it's stupid. And to get matters worse, for some reason the command detection in this is a little bit unresponsive, so pressing the button sometimes doesn't do anything, and sometimes it's like the command works a little too well, and instead of just calling the character for assist, is just changed with you, and sometimes it can ruin your pace. You know what? Even the normal form of fight has some delay, and you end up doing nothing, and you can't chain any attack with the light or heavy button. It turns so shallow in the way of combat that it certainly gets boring. Not only that, but the grab button doesn't register mid-combo, so yeah, you try to do that grab button and you don't do jack shit, meaning that even in fighting, this thing is badly programmed. What the fuck? The health bar is shared between all team members, unlike other team games where each character has its own health bar. I kind of like and don't like this idea. Seeing as all these characters' skills hit like mother flipping trucks, the fight can either go at a good pace or can freaking end in a matter of seconds, depending on the matchups. And sometimes some people never change into any other characters. It turns into a 1v1 fight, which in this case loses the core idea of using all characters to fight. As natural from shonen games, some characters can transform. You know, Goku into a Super Saiyan and eventually Blue, others turn into a super stage like Zoro Ornament Haki, or Seiya's Golden Armor. You can transform by filling the Awakening Gauge. This is done by, again, receiving and giving damage. Once the gauge is at least half filled, you can click the right stick and boom, you transform. In this state, your character certainly powers up, but not too much like it did in Victory Versus, where they became so broken and wrecked shit up for everyone. But it is necessary to consider it to get some comebacks. The online in this game is weird. Sometimes it's smooth as hell, no problems whatsoever. There's some lag and startup but no big problems here. Smash Bros. Brawl, this ain't. And now the biggest gripe of many gamers, a hub world. Don't get me wrong, hub worlds can be a real help to show you something look better than a regular menu would dream to do. Look at Dragon Ball FighterZ hub world for example, small, direct, useful and downright likable thanks to the chibi art style. And all the menus are simple, accessible and consistent. But in here, this hub world is extremely big, extremely repetitive, and extremely void of anything interesting. Let's get this fucking party started. The hub world is divided in 4 zones. The main plaza with central tower that has 4 stands, 2 of which are for the online and offline fights. Why? There is a second floor corridor in the plaza that seriously speaking amounts to nothing! No shop, no interesting characters, nothing. And next, the central office where Nick here gives you the story missions. Dude, sit down. There is a freaking chair there. It's not like you have a stick up your ass. Maybe. After that, the hub world spreads into other 3 zones, each representing more of the big 3. Seriously? How much cock sucking do they want for these guys, huh? Ugh. Anyway, the Dragon Ball part is your typical desert area from Dragon Ball, with current towers in the distance and Capsule Corp house and nothing else. Moving on. The One Piece part is a port with a marine ship and the Thousand Sunny. Really? Not a kitchen for Sanji? Luffy's gonna be in trouble, especially since he talks about it in their introduction video. And the final song from Naruto is like a little bit of the Hidden Leaf Village entrance, and just to rough salt in the wound, a small Athena gold statue in the corner. Last but not least, this kind of big as hell corridor where there's supposed to be some room for the J-Force, but again, it's just empty with nothing to do there and just a big ass corridor to look at the distant void and think what you're doing with your life. Why? Why is this hub world so big? It's so empty for no reason. Each of the big 3 zones has some shops, but they are the very same from the one in the main plaza. And the big ass corridor that doesn't have anything, it's so lacking in meaning that it's just a waste of space. Not only that, but instead of a clever cameo or one of the shops, it's just one of the stupid lame custom characters. How can you make a hub this big, so lame, and with shonen jump involved? How? It doesn't make any sense. You could have done a hub world like Fighters and it would have been the same value. There is a stupid fast travel button in the menu of the hub world. How? That option is supposed to be used for the fucking open world games. It's so... Okay. First of all, again, why is this fucking piece of shit so big? It's so unnecessary. Now, how can you fix the game's hub and make it look like a real jump game? Well, how to fix the Jump Force hub and give it a real respect? In the hub there are multiple shops. One of those is that they give you temporary boost in the name of lames as hell, simple items like HP boost or defense up. Well, that shop would be a fuck ton better if the Soma gang was there to make fault for you and apply those boosts. I think that will make them more meaningful. Another shop lets you buy techniques for your OC. So, shouldn't one of the anime master be there to teach you? Master Roshi, Jiraiya, Genkai, Gran Torino? I mean, you are learning fighting skills, so it makes sense. The shop that gives you missions could be attended by people where there are mission-based functionality worlds like Leorio from Hunter x Hunter, Chica from World Trigger, Kamui from The Greyman, and even Urara from Yuna the Hunter's Hot Spring. Again, go read it and you will understand what I'm talking about. The Road shop could be deal with a character such as Kikaijima from Midaka Box. Why? Well, she is the treasurer of the student council. There is no better post for her. There is an event shop that certainly I don't know what function does that the mission shop cannot cover, but anyway, Kyoko from Haikyuu could be in charge. She managed things in her own world. Anyway, I think that covers the shop, I think. If I'm missing one, let me know, if you care. In the main plaza, there is a part filled with chairs and tables, like some kind of cafeteria. Well, surprised you can even use them. Some jump characters could occupy this place just for the sake of reference, right? Like, let's say, the cat from We Never Learn, studying in the tables just to pass time. The guy from Hikaru no Go doing some board game. The skate dance gang. The people from Bakuman. Some other heroes talking or walking around the plaza on the other zones, like the guy from Ichigo 100%, the guy from Roku Denashi Blues, Nisekoi, the big ass corridor I told you earlier could be filled with the sports manga groups, Slam Dunk, Captain Tsubasa, iShield 21, Hinomaru Sumo, Prince of Tennis, Kuroko no Basket, and the like. Just doing some play or running to keep on training. If you want to give them some purpose, they could give you the physical boost. Because, you know, sports. Even the big three sounds lack any type of life and appeal. Why isn't Goku doing some training while in that place? Why isn't Luffy stuffing his face with food like he always does? There is a ramen shop in Naruto size, yet he isn't all over that place. Other jump characters around those places. You could have made a small hub for just full of cameos in the reference, but no, you said fuck it, big, meaningless, and lifeless. The very moment Light was shown, I thought, are they going to bring more non-fighters in the game? Will they make cameos or have some important role there? Well, they brought Light just for the freaking bait, cause he's just Light being his schemy self, nothing different. It was such a waste of potential that as a fan of Shonen Jump is downright insulting. It's an incredible waste of potential that again certainly shows big lack of love and respect for the source material. Actually, there are two things that really are missing from this game, being a Jump anniversary game. First of all, a gallery, art of the characters, description of their worlds, how many chapters they have, and all of that, description of those obscure series to show the fans where they came from, their creators, something like that. And who should be in charge of that place? Roji from Muhio and Roji Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. Why? The name says it all. Now for the second thing that is missing, and in this game is the best part I like to analyze. Music. And for this game I can only say one thing. What in the flying fuck is as generic as it can get? I bet I have heard this type of music in a Marvel movie or something, and even then those are better than this. It's so generic, has no touch or reference or any type of characters in the game. So basic, so lazy. Especially knowing that Victory Versus was awesome, full of rock music made to hype you for the fight. Not only that, but that game used an official soundtrack from some of the animes. Not every series, but still. So this game not having anything of the like is pathetic, and there's no excuse for it to be like this. And even if they needed some original music, I think this is not what I would like to call attractive. It's for a fight between super powerful martial artists and demigods. Didn't they hear the music of fighters? That shit is hype. I want to down the volume of put my collection of anime music cause I know it would sound better. Far fuck much better. Unfortunately, the reception of this game is not what I would call the best there is. Did it so well? Heck it did. And it might help to get support for the game just for the sale count. But they did it just pulling out fucking nostalgia and didn't even deliver properly. For instance, they assured us that Toriyama Sousei's Ken and Galina were playable, but they weren't. What the fuck? Did every anime fan like it? No! After bad promoting of the characters reveal, overhyping the game, and this guy from Yonka production guy who just lied hinting at so many characters that only the JoJo characters became true. Yeah, he guessed some of the characters like Deku and Asta, but I don't know if he saw the DLC playable or something, but he shouldn't have talked if he wasn't completely 100% sure. It ruined the surprise, or disappointment in this case. Even Bandai themselves lied to us saying there were more females, but only brought 4, not counting the Avatar. Lied telling us that the reveal till launch were not the complete roster. Lied telling us Toriyama Sousei were playable after beating the game, which they are not. And I hope they are not part of the DLC, cause that would be true scum. If things aren't fixed for the time the DLC is released, don't think we will ever expect some more love from this game. And it will suffer the same fate that Victory vs. That game died thanks to the being in Japan exclusive for a year, and when it came out of there, the interest for the game was pretty much dead. And even if it fixes everything, I don't think it will be of any help. Spike Chunsoft was in charge of developing this game. I'm really disappointed. This company specializes in making RPGs and visual novels, some Danganronpa games and the 3DS Attack on Titan games. Why or why were in the charge of a game of this caliber? An RPG focused company making a fighting game. I mean, yeah, they made J-Stars and the Tenkaichi games, and yeah, as I said before, J-Stars were far better than this one. But don't get my words wrong, J-Stars was not perfect by any means, but far more respectful of the source material than this game. Spike Chunsoft quality of games decayed after the Tenkaichi trilogy on the PS game, and they couldn't find a competent developer for this game. CyberConnect, for example, they made a really good history with 3D Naruto games. Dims, who made the My Heroes 1 Justice game. Arc System Works is another example, they made the best fighting game of the year. As of the moment of this recording, Bandai has informed that patches will be releasing, some of them fixing the game problems, like being able to skip cutscenes, thank fucking god, shortening loading times, because they are really bad, to even include a rematch option to wait. What? There is no fucking rematch on a multiplayer game? What the fuck, Bandai? At the end of things, this game smells of rush everywhere, and certainly suffers from it. This game is just okay at best, nothing to consider great, but not the worst of the worst. Essentially, I seen some shit. The story is ass, the hobble, the lack of good music, and the lack of love for it is shit. The only thing that saves from the gameplay for fighting game is just enough, but not only that, saves from it. And just for an anime fan, that's just okay. Casual anime fans who only know about the big three, to be more specific, because for people like me and hardcore jump fans, it's just freaking disappointment and a waste of potential and a fucking insult. Were the over-realistic graphics unnecessary? Fuck yes. In fact, I would have loved the super cel-shaded graphics from Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I bet it would have made things much better, fuck much better, and would have helped that the different art styles don't clash without making anyone suffer. Just look at Kill la Kill If. Is the story really bad? Fuck yeah! Completely bad with a lot of unnecessary padding, completely and blatantly copying Xenoverse, aside from the original idea, misuse of 50 years of Jump to its full potential for action, gag and mystery series, and again, the other mangakas could have helped make this story much better, more original, instead of relying on only one artist, no matter how famous he is. Again, the lack of iconic anime music makes this game sound so flat, unappealing, and boring. At least some rock metal music or something more hype than this generic as fuck music, help it out. In fact, I would have to say this game would have benefited from a little more time in the open, and it would have helped to please all fans by putting characters that should have been in the game roster, both old and new. With that said, I would give this game story mode a 2 out of 10. You just copy and paste for the 4th time. Don't believe me? Xenoverse, Xenoverse 2, and FighterZ gets a little bit of leeway because they at least evaded the bullet by making the enemies clones and non-heroes possessed by magic or some kind of shit. And for the fighting, I'll give it 5 out of 10. At least it's playable, the physical and sound effects are good, and the modding community can get some lot of it, because at this moment I have been seeing a Vegito mod and it looks good. Would I recommend this game to other people? Hell no! It's just so average that it would be insulting to whoever wants to play a fighting game, an anime fighting game. If you want a truly good jump crossover, go get some Jump Ultimate Stars or J-Stars if you want something far better than this. At the moment of this recording, the 9 DLC characters have been leaked and are going to be Madara, Law, Boo, Grimjo, Hitsugaya, All Might, Bakugo, Biscuit, and Kaiba. Are you fucking serious? More of the big 3 series and we already got represented here? If this is 50 years of celebration of a game or what? Fuck you, Bandai. Fuck you and fuck your stupid personnel. Whoever was in charge of character selecting this, I'm going to punch him in the fucking face. I'm deleting this piece of shit from my PC after I dealt with this. Okay. Calm down. At the end of things, some other people will tell you that it's going to get better if we show support. Well, no, that is not how it works. By doing that, we only show that we like these mediocre games, and we will receive anything that has Goku or Naruto's face on it, no matter how bad it is. By not buying the game, neither the DLC, we show that we are concerned with the game's quality and decisions for it. Again, the game is not bad, but it's far from good. Other people say that the lack of other characters is because of licensing. Well, I call bullshit on that. Licensing should be priority level omega for a game of this type. Again, I bet they didn't even bother to go for the licenses and stick with the ones they had for the general games they do. The game is playable, but a far cry from what Bandai made us believe, and a far below game from other games they have made, like the Ultimate Ninja games or My Hero 1 Justice. And certainly not a game that a magazine with a half of a century on its back should deserve. Just to go on a tangent here, there are two other games made for the Jump 50th anniversary, both for mobiles, and I have to say, they are far better than this. One of them is called Jump Stadium, a Smash Bros. Clone with chibi art style characters, but I feel this one has far more consideration of Jump. For starters, it has characters like Kankichi, Rikuo, and Cobra, the protagonist from Bastard, although I don't remember his name, and even the cut characters from Jump Force. True, it's just main protagonists, but the variety is very noticeable. The other one that is still in development is Jump Hero Tyson, or a Collection 2, an RPG, and by the looks of it, it looks good. After watching those games, I started to think fighting genre is one of the more profitable genres in the game industry. But was it the only genre that a jump game would succeed? Well, not really. 3D brawlers are not that popular, to be honest, and a 2D fighting game would have been good, but the beam characters would have been broken as fuck. But what about an RPG? It certainly would have been able to bring more series to the light and make more jump characters shine on their own. And by the way, the first true jump crossover game was an RPG, if you didn't know. But the game came out the way it is, and it certainly disappointed. The roster didn't live to its full potential, and DLC even worse, pulling a Marvel vs. Capcom under our eyes. You know, character that should have been in the base roster, not DLC. All Might, Bakugo, and Kaiba aside, again, this series already have 6 characters each, why more? And Biscuit, who wants a Plankwood Hulk instead of Meren, Chrollo, and Netero, or again some more than titties? Although as a leak we don't know if it's true or not, but only time will tell, and although the data miners have managed to activate All Might and Kaiba's moveset in the game, if it does have a second DLC pass, I hope it makes things better. As a sequel game, instead of making things better, it certainly went backwards, and to some people, the only way they find enjoyment of it is by either making fun of its story or by playing with other people by their side, not online. Again, this was a waste of potential. Lack of love, interest, and appreciation for Jump certainly makes it not worth $60, and certainly all that money for the Ultimate Edition, big figure or not. With that said, I'm the Gaming Pal Wolfgang, have a fantastic day, and certainly don't get this game, try to get a better anime game from this, like Fighters or My Hero 1 Justice.